Oh, it takes something off.
All right, we're live. We're live. Don't talk about nobody. We're live.
Uh-oh.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Let's see. So far, we ain't got too many people hanging out in chat. We got Socrates popped in early. James Rabetta, Gareth Martin, Hibba DeRay. She just dropped a new video. I got to get a chance to check that out. Here we go. We're 3 weeks away from the big giveaway, the big drawing, big chance to score, whatever the hell you want to call it. Oh, let's see. What's the beeping trucker saying? Okay, he's working till, okay. I got you. Yeah, he's got to drive. He's got to be a good boy. He's in New York.
God bless.
He's running the back roads in New York. Vapex, what's going on, brother?
Hey,
Long time no see.
buddy. How you doing?
Peaches gross you out, huh, Joey?
What? Oh,
Yeah.
no. I love peaches.
Well, you're from Georgia. You're born with them.
Guess this show
I
is
know.
They probably used to put them in your formula as a baby.
I know, right? Well, I'm not a really good Southerner, but I am a good Georgia peach. So
Yeah, the way you pronounce IDA, yeah, you can.
yeah, I'm not a good Southerner. I can say IDA really good.
I know, it gets me all tingly.
I know.
That sounds Australian though. IDA.
That's mine.
Yeah, it's more New England because of Ambition's Vapor. He always says IDA and IT.
Yeah, well, I was married to someone from Long Island, New York for 15 years.
It's Long Island.
Yeah. Long Island. It's LONGILAND. Long Island.
And he used to have a friend call and say, "Hi, this is Howie. Give me a call." So I got pretty good at imitating the accent. So.
All right, we got Hitman out there joining us today. We got Andre Roth, Aaron Arant. What's going on, Aaron? Tash K, Wade Nixon. All right, what's going on, everybody? Everyone's starting to pile in. Good. I'm glad you just did that, Theo. I'm going to throw a blue wrench your way. This way, if you guys need to pimp any shit out, you can do that.
I'm so
Train Sonic, Tony Sadman. What's up, brother? What's up, everybody?
And we got them. They're all rolling in now.
Yeah, cool. That's because I know here the weather sucks.
So I'm slow in the chat, guys. Sorry.
It's all right,
I'm slow today, too.
Trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as you can see, we have a couple of special guests today, all the way from the other side of the world over in South Africa. What's this, like 9 o'clock at night now for you?
No.
Yeah, 100%. 3 minutes past 9.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 minutes. I'll agree.
Now, do you guys live like in the same city or just happen to find each other online?
No, we're in the opposite ends of South Africa at the moment.
Okay.
You're in Johannesburg and I'm in Cape Town.
Oh, okay, yeah. At least both city boys, though. At least not out in the sticks.
Yeah, there's like a whole desert in between us. We're about 1,400 kilometers away from each other, you know. But our show had 3 members, and it was myself, Daniel, and Richard. And then Daniel his wife was pregnant, right? So she was expecting, and it was getting close to her date. So he needed to take some time off. And so it was just myself and Richard. So we had a look on our local forum, and, you know, that's how I found Dietz, you know, and I just invited him, and he sort of just stuck around.
You didn't make him like do an audition tape or anything, send to you guys to, make sure he was worthy. I see John Carlo's out there. John Carlo, I opened up your package yesterday for the giveaway, and I'm very impressed. I like that mechs that are in there. They're sharp, and those J80 Sigelli mods, they're going to go really well. That's a nice little mod. Little internal battery. Well, since I jumped into that, everybody, if you look in the description, the link is in there to donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and my email is in there. Just donate every $5 donate, send me email me a copy of the receipt that they put up on the page. It doesn't have any personal information or anything. I'm not getting your credit card numbers, and just go ahead and email that to me at dtimefrank@gmail.com, and every $5 you donate, you get a spot in the raffle. So far we've gotten only about 25 spots sold right now, but it's growing every day. And we got John Carlos donated. Tommy Vapors has donated. Wonder Flavors has donated their entire line.
Awesome.
Sin N, as everyone knows her as, it hangs out on Freshish stuff, and over in what do you call DIY or Die's Discord and that. She has donated a $30 gift card to Bull City Flavors. There's a few Adore concentrates in there right now, and there's going to be more of that coming because I'm going to actually purchase some stuff myself. Truck and Vapes, or Vape and Trucker. I'm sorry, let's not get that right. Josh ain't doing shit except shout it out. But he's donated a Dead Rabbit RDA. Mary Beth has donated some products, and the big one, I mean, not that yours isn't, Mary Beth, but Mr. Addy Tooney.
Yeah, man, that is big.
Toonified K-Fun, a Toonified B2K, and a Toonified Littlefoot RTA.
Wow.
I saw those.
Jeez.
Those
And
were
if
nice.
you get something that's Toonified, you have something special. That's not something that you sell or you give away. No, that's something you hold on to. You will that to your kids. What you do with that stuff. That is all right, cool, Mike. No problem.
Yeah, so apparently, Frank, we're popping their cherries today.
Oh, never been on a live show before.
Yeah, we hear that this is what you do, you know?
Pretty.
Yeah.
Pop cherries for live shows.
Yeah, I told them you pop my cherry. They said, "Don't worry, you'll be all right. You'll be fine.
We'll be gentle.
It's all good."
If I need to, I can get some KY out of her.
Really, Frank?
Come on. Look, you know I'm always inappropriate. I always cross that line. I just like trip over that line and then just look stupid.
He's like, "What? There's that line again." Oh well. So, you had started to tell us a little bit about how you kind of got started, but when we were chatting the other day, you were telling me that you're like the only DIY group in South Africa. So why don't you tell us a little bit about each of you, how you kind of got started in vaping and mixing, and then kind of how you met and decided to put a show together. Why don't you go ahead, Thea?
Sure.
Why don't you start?
Yeah, I'll start. I actually originally started the Fog Vlog as a hardware review channel. All truth be told, and if you go down to all my videos and you scroll right down, you'll find some of the hardware reviews. They're absolutely cringy, so don't go and do that. But I started doing hardware reviews because I was just watching YouTube and I was just getting information from YouTube, and it was kind of the first time I really actually was interested with YouTube, as a thing, because I was looking for information about vaping. I could find it on forums and I could find it on YouTube. Those were the two biggest places where I could get my information, and that just got me interested. So I decided I want to do hardware as well, but quickly ran into the problem where you just don't have enough cash flow to put out good content, so getting in new stuff. I also didn't know a lot of people. So it's pretty much that thing where you started out and you realized, hey, but this is way more expensive than what I anticipated on what I want to accomplish, right? So, I just didn't put out any more videos. But then by that time, I was part of many WhatsApp DIY groups. And in one of the groups, Daniel had said just randomly, when are we doing because they knew I did YouTube reviews, and they said, when are we doing a DIY show? Now, I always wanted to also do, at that point in time, I was watching Wayne's show, and I was watching a little bit of Fresh shows. And here's the Moose.
Moose.
There's a surprise. That's awesome. Go ahead, Theo. Sorry,
at the point in time, I was watching Wayne's show and Fresh Show 3, and I said, yeah, let's do it. Joel from Mr. Hardwick's, he's here in South Africa as well, Method 1 on ATF. He joins a lot on Wayne shows, and he said he'll come hop in for a couple of shows on our side. And Richard was also interested. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's just put this together. I've got a channel already. Everything is there. I'll do the editing and whatever. And then, you guys, we just all get together. I'll record the show and I'll put it out for us. And that's what we did. And from there, the show was born. We used to do long-winded podcasts that covered everything. So it would be flavor notes, it would be recipe reviews or new mixes that came out, vape legislation, but you would have to commit like an hour and a half, sort of podcast style to listen to it. Now, I love that. I do that every single day of my life. But, it's just not the average consumer out there. So we decided to chop the show up. That's when Daniel's wife was expecting at the point in time. And then myself and Richard started talking about adding another member, right? And then we started looking around. Now on the forum, we've got a local forum here called E6SA. And, they do vape expos every year. They're quite big and quite involved. And that's the forum where I literally, the whole thing started for me. That's the first forum that I joined where I got all my information about mixing, hardware, and everything. I was on there every single day posting. That was my forum. And I looked in the threads that I posted in, and, Dietz was posting in the same thread. So, of course, I realized that he is interested in mixing as well. You have to be super careful. So, on the forum, you have the ability to sort of go back and check, what Dietz has been posting. And I kind of liked what he was saying. He didn't look like he was confrontational, and it looked like he he could do this, So I hit him up, and then he said, "Yeah, cool. He'll hop in for a couple of shows, but he probably doesn't have as many concentrates and stuff as we do." And we were like, "It's not about that. That will grow over time." I think I'm still not even close to what the amount of concentrates and stuff that everybody else have. But the stuff I have is I've done a lot of research on and whatever. Anyway, back to the fog vlog. But now I would say we've been running back to back every week for about a year now, and it's been great. I think the first time I met Frank was when I posted a video on a review show of Moped, which is, of course, used to be a member, or is still a member, of this show. And Frank came onto my feed on YouTube, and he was like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Yeah, I was pissed.
There was a big.
Oh yeah, I got bent. Yeah, I stick up for my boys, and then I jumped the gun, because then I went back and I'm watching again. And then I calmed down for a second as again with my friends, and then I went back and I watched more of it. I'm like, all right, now I see where they're going with this, and then we had an actual real discussion about it. So it worked out good. Oh, Uncle Eddie's in the
Frank
chat.
And everybody was going to get on a plane to South Africa.
Yeah, no, I saw it was going down there, and of course, it was still a new thing where we were showcasing mixers, and we had a lot of people talking about it, and it's like that with any new thing. People are worried about it, right? So, but I think everybody is okay with it now because they know the information comes from a good place, So we out there to motivate people and not discourage them from mixing.
No, at all.
Yeah.
Cool, Dietz.
So, sorry, Frank, you wanted to say?
I was just going to shout out, we got the legend in the house, Mr. Addy Tooney, the godfather of mixing, the one that we all look up to. Go ahead, Dietz. I'm sorry.
So with mine, I started vaping because I wanted to quit smoking really badly. It was round about the time, my daughter's 4 years now, so it was round about the time we were expecting my daughter, and I could see I was going up a flight of stairs and I would be out of breath and completely like I ran the whole Olympics. And I figured I'm going to have to do something to be able to play with my kid, and I need to quit smoking. But I've tried it. I've tried patches and nicotine, bubble gum, and all of that stuff, nothing worked. So I also quit smoking cold turkey, which was the only way, but it only lasted a year. And with my job, I had a lot of projects that was very stressful, and I started smoking in between, and then I bought a pack, and it was like, okay, I'm doing this again. So I bought my first vaporizer and started with that. As with everything that I normally do, I think I can do it better than the stuff I can buy. So I would DIY everything. Same with most projects I take on, it would be something I see and then go make my own, because I can make it better or the same. So with vaping, I then got into DIY. And initially, for the first probably year or so, I only mixed a certain few recipes. I found a few I liked, and that was the permanent rotation thing. I vaped something for 6 months straight. Yep. Then later, I started figuring I'm getting tired of everything, and also the in between, I would think, no, a commercial juice is better. So I would go buy something, but be really disappointed with it. And then that inspired me to just start experimenting with something that I thought I would get and try and make what I expected. So I started playing around with more concentrates, and it just I got inspired by everything. So it became a little bit of a hobby, and then later an obsession. On the forum, as Theo said, I was basically just posting everything there, because I figured I created things I did not see around there. I like the weird and weird, strange, and sharp flavors, or fruity flavors, vibrant flavors. And I didn't see many of what I liked. So I figured I'm going to create stuff and just start posting. That's when Theo asked me if I want to join on the show. I figured, well, okay, that sounds like a good plan. Unlike him, I wasn't as connected with all the community and groups and social platforms before that. I actually had no Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I had no YouTube. I had nothing other than the forum, because I don't really like being online that much. So I opened my YouTube account and joined the channel. From there, I really started growing in my concentrate collection with all the juices, all the reviewers. For me, I had first rule with literally everyone we had to mix up. But for the sake of being on the show and what I joined for, I figured it's only good. So I started expanding on concentrates with every mixer, and really started appreciating it more. So,
do you guys know what first rule means?
First rule? No.
Yeah.
First rule is the first rule of DIY. You will always be missing one concentrate.
Oh, yes.
Yes. We know. We live that every day.
Oh, yeah.
So that happened all the time.
Even me. Like, somebody asked me, now I'm at 1,400 concentrates, which don't do that. Don't do that.
Wow. No.
More in Bull City.
That's a lot.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot.
And even I'm missing a concentrate every time I open a recipe. Not every time, but every day there's always a recipe that I don't have a concentrate for. I'm like, really? It's like, how is that?
No.
But it happens.
Not with that amount of concentrate.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's what it is.
So yeah, basically I joined the thefogvlog because I saw that what they were going for wasn't just reviewing people to say this is bad and this is good. It was more about sharing to the DIY community the things we kept on asking on the forums, and you would have to search long and far to find really good information. So for that reason, we started putting out videos that would give people everything we asked for 6 months and figured out the hard way and spent the money unnecessarily and bought all the wrong equipment. And for that, just for that sake, to help people to do exactly what we wanted or hoped for at the time of learning what we learned. That's why we do this. And also getting the word out on people who have good mixes and no one knows about. That was mostly the point in the beginning. That was my part.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you guys have come together, and it seems like the symmetry of it. It's like, even though you pre-record it and then you do the premiere, so you have the chat going and everything, which I think is really, really interesting. Is a different way of doing it. And I mean, I caught yesterday's. I watched part of it yesterday while I was driving, more listened to it, and really couldn't be involved in the chat, unfortunately. But then last night while I was mixing, I watched more of it and actually finished it up this morning, even though it was only a little over an hour. But that's about how little time I had to do anything since I got home late last night.
Yeah, we
Go ahead. I'm
Go
sorry.
for it, Mary.
I
Okay.
was just going to say that I think the Premiere format works very well. Like it's a new feature, I guess, in YouTube, but I think it works really well for what you guys are doing because it allows you to actively interact with the community as well as the mixer has the option or the capability to be part
We
of
like
it, which I think is
we
perfect.
like it. I think we like it honestly because it kind of gives us a little bit of an idea that interaction you get from a live show, which because we are a little bit new to YouTube, and for the sake of me not bombing our episodes and being live, that worked beautifully for us. So it's a great for us to get a feel on how the interaction works in YouTube. You know, I was a digital grommet, like I said, I had my cave of no social networks and nothing going out. So we'll get to a live show next year.
Well,
Go
I'm
ahead.
glad to have you guys today for sure.
Yeah.
We spoke about it because, we wanted to add a live show or something live to the show. And, Richard was saying that we need to be, let's first start our content by giving out the value that we want to get out. And then we can add a live show later on, and then we just, the premiere feature came about and it was just perfect. At that point in time, we were looking at ways on how do we get the Mixer review show to become a little bit more popular. And that's when I had a chat with Fresh03 to run after his show and, use the premiere feature,
Very
So
smart.
I just compounded it there. Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about you guys, how you started looking at mixers and how you kind of set up your production timeline and how does that work for you all?
Yeah, I think we still keep learning. It's constant evolution, right? But like what we do is we always have to look at there's a tier of mixtures that have come through the ranks that has already gained so much popularity, and all power to those guys. But what we really aim to do with Mixer Review is we trying to get the underdog, but that's for lack of another word. We're trying to get the underdog out into that top tier. So somebody that has got really banging mixes out there. Somebody like Alfred Pudding is a good example that is contributing quite a lot. He's got banging mixes out there, but he's just not being spotlighted enough to get him where I think he belongs, for instance. So that's the whole aim of Mixer Review. But what we do is we go and look at that tier of or group of people. We create a list of all the people that we think needs to or falls in that tier, and then we go through all their recipes. Now, I mean, if you go and look at Fresh03, we did the Fresh03 show because it was the first show after Fresh03's DIYing on Saturday. So it just made sense to do a Fresh03 show to get people interested in the show, right?
It's
but,
a good template.
Yeah. So what we do is we look at all those mixes, and then we look at all their recipes, and then we see what we can mix up. As our stash grows, of course, more of those mixes become viable for a show. With all the concentrates, and this is a problem, it's just getting worse. There's just new flavor houses coming onto the scene every other week. It feels like every other month, and new stuff coming out that it's really tough to kind of stay ahead and do this. But we have managed, and we're doing pretty well. But yeah, that's what we have to do. We have to mix like 2 weeks in advance. Yep. So we have a sequence of how we want to. So we say, for instance, okay, this week we running this mixer. Next week we're running the mix. Another mixer, and the week after another mixer. So we almost have about a month planned. generally. That's the good case scenario, right? There's also a bad case scenario, which happens because, before you know it, those 3 weeks are up, and you haven't thought about another 3 mixes. That's the worst case scenario.
Right.
We try and avoid that by all means, because we will never mix somebody up if we can't steep their juice and talk about their recipes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what we do. Yeah.
Wow, that's an incredible commitment. I know I've mentioned that to you before, but like the commitment to make the mixes, give it time, get the flavors if you need to get the flavors, that I really give you a lot of respect for, and the manner in which you give people feedback, because you give feedback, I mean, it's always your taste, and taste is always subjective, but I like the way in which you present that. And I think you do. I mean, you're going to come up to profiles. You have to do mixes you may or may not like. It may not be a mix in your flavor profile, but you have to be able to review that. And that's really a hard thing to do, and you have to tackle it. And I think you guys do a really nice way of doing it. And I always learn something listening to you guys. And so I really appreciate that. Joey's doing some reviews, and she does an amazing job too. But it's not easy. I give you guys a lot of credit in having to sometimes say things that or pick recipes you may not pick. So yeah, good job.
Yeah, let me piggyback off of that. You guys do the individual flavor reviews, and I know it's almost like a noted, but just on one specific flavor. And I'm really enjoying them because I'll admit I hate doing single flavor testing. So if you guys can do it for me, hey, power to you.
Why not?
I ain't got time for that shit half the time. So it was like, I want to be able to know, okay, well, this is going to do this, and that should do this, and take some of the guesswork out of it. Like you guys did the one on the Inawera custard, and
that actually,
I learned a shit ton on that one from having Rude Rudy on there with you guys, and that I didn't really, for some reason, I didn't know about Tutal's custard base using the 3-2-1, and now like I fell in love with that when I used that one today in my peach custard, and then also with the Inawera Yes Sweet cheesecake on there too. It's like, oh, now I finally got a cheesecake base, throw some Italian cream at it, and I'm set.
That series actually happened because of the initial mixes reviews we had. A lot of people ended up asking after the show specifics about the concentrates or what the profiles can do or can be subbed with. So there was a lot of questions on that. We figured, why not just start going on to the staples first and just explaining the staples properties and all of that. And it ended up being really successful. I mean, it helped people. It would have helped me a lot if I started. I would not have wasted on 3 different ones where I could have had the one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we also looked at, how do you compare to anything? How do you compare anything next to noted? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
I mean, they control that section of what they do, So putting out anything substandard next to noted is just going to be a waste of time. So we thought of, okay, how do we make this original? How do we keep this original? And then we decided, why don't we zoom deeper into just one concentrate, and we talk about the staples first. You know what I mean? Because remember, in the US, I think the whole DIY scene is a little bit more, has progressed a little bit further than what we have. Okay, if I look at and the things that I see people asking, and because I'm part of a couple of forums that is international forums, the things I'm seeing being asked in those forums and the things I'm seeing in our local forums are vastly different, right? So there's still a lot of learning that needs to be done by our local community. So that's why we decided to do the staples first. You know what I mean?
Well,
so that people get right stash.
Sorry, even for people that's been mixing, it's great to have that refresher. To go back to TFA Bavarian cream that you No, graham cracker. Oh my gosh, you did cheesecake graham cracker press. That's what you did. And I mean, it's just great to go back to those. And oh yeah, I used to use that all the time, and I could still use that. And you show ways how it's still being used today, and how it's such a vital ingredient. So I mean, it's just great for everyone, not just newer mixers. It's good for old mixers. I'm old. So.
The other great thing about our show is I believe there's a good dynamic because of what I mix, what Theo mix, and what Richard mix, and specifically how Richard's perspective on a flavor is, how mine goes, and where I would apply it, and the same with Theo. It's very different, so you get very different opinions. Basically, that gives you a broader idea of the concentrate on its own. So that works very well too.
I agree 100% because that's the difference between having one reviewer review something versus a panel. And you're always going to get like a differing view, which is nice. I think it's actually better, 100%. So the other question I wanted to ask is, how hard is it to get flavors down there? And like, what are the rules and regs like?
That's a good one.
Dietz, do you want to take this one?
Well, basically, we get what Black Vapor gets. So it goes. It's pretty much on a commercial base. It depends on the demand, and that's what we'll get here. So if the mixes are really highly mixed and a lot of people ask for the specific flavor, the flavor will normally be imported. So it depends on whether it will sell or not. So they won't really find something if we say we're maybe two people who ask for something that's been mixed in 2 recipes. It's not likely that they'll get it. But if there's people asking and saying there's this popular recipe, and in the DIY community, if the people talk about it or see a lot of recipes, they normally will make sure that flavor would be there. There's still many flavors we don't have, and I think Theo can expand more on why those aren't here. But for the most part, from what I know, it's whether it will sell or not. There's also some specific reseller agreements, and that also limits what brands others will import, because another reseller has a specific contract to say we only allowed to bring in this brand, and then from that brand they will only have the best sellers of that brand, which automatically excludes everyone else to buy the others that's not part of that best seller range.
Yeah, we have BLCK, of course, has been collaborating with us quite a bit. When we reached 200 subscribers literally just the other day, I spoke with him and I said, "How I want to do a bit of a giveaway on the local forum because of that," and they just said, "Yes, we will," and they threw in like $800 for the person that wins, and nice. We had so BLCK has been nice. They've got a one-shot line, which is the VS one-shot line, which is Daniel, myself, Rudy, and Marvin. So we've created recipes, and we've created one-shots of those, and BLCK sells those, and the line is doing very, very well. However, there's many other suppliers down here. So some of the favorites is the Flavor Mill. I mean, we've got Boss Vape as well, which is literally just around the corner. But I mean, we've got many DIY suppliers over here.
We've got many flavors.
Just in Centurion alone, I've got about 3 kilometers away from my closest one. So if I wanted to, I can literally walk to a DIY store if I really, really wanted to. So it's very popular over here.
So the traditional flavor houses. So basically, BLCK is a distributor. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, it's distributors. We've got 2 local flavor houses in the sense of brands created and manufactured here in South Africa. 2 that I know of. But for the most part, we've got Clyro Links is the one, and the other is, I think, Theo, is that Flavor SA or
ZA? It's ZA concentrate.
ZA Flavor. Yes, yes. So those are the only 2 local ones. But for the most part, people, the resellers here like BLCK or Black Vapor, Valley Vapor, the Flavor Mold. These all resell Capella, all the others, Capella, Flavor Arts, FE, all of them. Well, most of them, the ones that sell.
Yeah, just a quick list on what we can find. Just opening up BLCK, of course, TFA, FA Cap, Flavor West, Inuera. That's staples, right?
Yes.
But then Flavora, Laura Ann's, Real Flavors, Hankson, Jungle Flavors, Molenberry, One-on-One, Medicine Flower, Purilim, Flavor Express, Frandy Flavors, you might not know about. That's a rebranded Malaysian flavor house. Raw Concentrates, you might know of. That's also Malaysian. Wonder Flavors, DIY Flavor Shack, Vape Train, Liquid Barn.
Yeah.
And I think they're bringing in Flavor Monks too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Flavor Monks.
Get the gin.
Wow.
That's
I've actually got a sample now with our Black Friday. They sent out, or they were kind enough to send samples with my order, and I can see
cool.
I got the gin and tonic, the bubblegum, and the forest berry. The bubblegum is actually very, very promising.
Oh, wow.
Betsy's bubblegum, or something like that.
Nice.
That gin smells like gin and tonic. I told my wife, I'm sure this will make me drunk if I were to vape this. It smells exactly like it.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great. So you really do have pretty good access. That's fantastic. So like prices, are your prices significant? I mean, do you find that prices are getting hiked because of where you are, or like is it like expensive for you guys?
I would say it is expensive. It is expensive. Sorry, it's expensive because of the import costs, but it has been reducing over the time now, because I mean it's getting more and more popular. So there's more and more distributors of flavor houses. So there's competition.
Prices for competition. Yep.
Yeah. So there was a bit of a price war going on earlier this year, and we were monitoring it very closely because our money would go where whoever is selling it for the most effective price, cost-effective price, right? And that dropped all the prices down to where it needs to be. Now everybody is kind of in that range, but just to give you an idea of the price, if we look at a 10 ml of something like TFA, right, you're probably looking at about like $25. So 25 Rand.
What?
25 Rand. Yeah.
The problem is the concentrate you really want. The Purilinum, the Inuera, FLV. What's the prices on them, Tim?
But
I think they're around 60 to 70.
We need to consider that cost about 16 Rand for $1. So it will cost about $2. $2 for TFA 10 mil. Okay. If we look at something like Hankson, for instance, that's about probably $60. Oh no, Hankson is 45 Rand, and something like Flavora is 60 Rand or 70 Rand. So yeah, that would be about $5. So $5. Something around there.
$5.40.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
It's about the same, probably.
It's really comparable. Okay. Yeah.
I figured it would be cheaper for you guys because we've got import costs to also pay.
So one of the things that I've heard Wayne talk about with the gentleman that has Mr. Hardwick's is the rules and regs that seem to be changing now, and there seem to be some regulations coming about that could potentially shut this all down. Is that the case for you guys?
Yeah, 100%. Deets, I've got a whole thing here on our regulation that I've written out, but Deets literally just joined on the last 2 episodes. We did a whole series on the vaping regulation in South Africa. So at that point in time, a bill came out, a draft bill came out for vaping, and they were looking for public response. Now, that draft bill, the response on this draft bill was closed in August. So the responses from public and everything is already in. We're literally sitting in a limbo state right now. So where we are is we literally in limbo. We don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, word on the street is saying if if we have an election coming up next year, the likelihood of this bill, being steamrolled through Parliament might not happen right now. It might happen after the election, right?
Yeah.
And then it might not be the top of the priority,
Right.
which could play in our favor.
Yeah.
But to give you some detail of what's in there, so on a high level, all right, we've got banning online sales. So here the problem is not age verification in South Africa. You're not allowed to sell tobacco online. So they want to apply the same rules to vaping as well.
That's what they're trying to do here too.
Same shit they did in the US.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. Labeling everything.
You know what's really, really funny, Mary Beth, I'll tell you a little bit later, but let me go through it now. But who came here for a conference, right? The World Health Organization. They were here. Yeah. They were here for some random yearly conference, and literally 2 weeks later, we had a draft bill on vaping. Literally 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yep.
Then,
Wow.
yeah, and then when we started really, because this was content for our show, right? So we started going through the bill to how do we break this up into sort of feedable chunks, so that we can post shows opposed to just doing one show about regulation. We were like, let's break this up into bite-sized pieces so that people can understand what this thing is.
Smart.
We realized that there's a lot of American English being used in our bill. So obviously somebody didn't go through that well enough. Flavor, we use UK English over here. So we spell flavor with OU. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you'll see many times it's written flavor with an O in there. And that's really suspicious. There's other examples of that as well. But anyway, let me go through high level what's going down with our regulation. The problem with an online ban is Big Tobacco has more than a century to establish a brick and mortar shop presence, where vaping is less than 10 years old and only recently coming into the public eye, right? So this will stunt the industry's growth big time, and vaping will take ages to establish themselves in things like convenience stores and shops, etc. All right, so that's the risk with banning online sales. Then we've got vaping in public. So I'm not super against vaping in public. It's just how it gets done, because, I generally feel there should be some rules around. Yeah, because, you just see people walking in malls and just blowing clouds out in the middle of a mall.
Not people. Young kids, and it's a trend for them to blow as bigger clouds to get noticed by the world. That's why.
I agree.
And I don't agree with that either. I mean, in malls and stuff where they try and be the rebel, So I'm vaping in the bar, and it's not smoking, and then they try and make an argument because it's kids like that make the issue.
Yeah, it makes all of us look bad, because a lot of those kids, like Giz calls them crafty little bastards.
I was going to say, what is
they've never smoked. A lot of them, if they're like, here, the big problem is the Joel, and that's 50 milligram nicotine. I know if I were to vape one of them right now, I'd be on the floor. I mean, it's
crazy. I got a pod this week with 35 milligram naked Nick salt for the first time since I vape. I've never had a nicotine rush like that, and I can definitely see why the 50 milligram Joule is such a big thing. I mean, this is crazy. It's 2 days now, and I keep finding myself, where's my Nick salt device? From everything I've got here,
because now you're getting nicotine again.
Yep, that's the thing.
It's so crazy.
I'm telling you now, man.
And I was warned. Thea warned me about this.
Lose that bottle. I went through the same thing. I had all this great stuff to vape, and I was going for the salt Nick. I was like, whoa, man.
Here, let me interrupt real quick. I see C. Earl Spencer in the chat. Cameron or Cody, I'm sorry. He just donated $50 to St. Jude's and got himself 10 spots in the raffle. And Aaron Arant is also donated $5 and got himself a spot. So.
Cool.
Cody, right now you're the big wiener. Right now, you got the most spots out of anybody.
So. Got his banger out.
Yeah, just pump that shit.
Well done.
Banger.
Yeah.
No tips, just a banger for that.
He went full on banger. He didn't give you no tip.
Yeah, but like I said, the Nick salts they gives you such a smooth hit. Now I do know people that have had trouble. I'm not sure if they're having trouble with the actual Nick salts or because they're coming off the cigarettes. And I don't know if it's that or if it's the PG that they're having an issue with because a lot of the commercial ones are 50-50 and stuff like that. So I don't know where they're having an issue, but they're I know some people are having some trouble making the transition from cigarettes to vaping because of I'm not sure if it's either the salts or the PG. We really didn't get an opportunity to with that person investigate it further to figure out what was up.
So Theo, just for the sake of time, I know you were kind of highlighting the bill. Is this something that people can watch? Did you go over this on your YouTube channel? Like, can people go and watch it there?
Yeah, 100%. There's a playlist there, which is, just called Regulation. And if you want to click on that, I've split that up into, a couple of shows. So the one is vaping in public, banning of online sales, advertising, promotion and sponsorship, labeling and packaging. So you'll see, the more detailed stuff in there about how our regulation might play out and what's currently in the draft bill.
Yeah.
Just to cut it short.
Yeah, it really does sound like they're mirroring what has been proposed here, very much so. All right, Frank, so what do you think? You want to start getting into pitches?
Yeah, we need to get into something. It's already 45 after.
Yeah, wow.
I mean,
when you're having fun.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, we've had some awesome, interesting conversation. But yeah, we need to start getting into these peaches. Everyone loves to have that warm, fuzzy feeling of a nice peach.
When I hear peaches, that is the first thing that comes to my mind is that song by the Dead Presidents. It's just, I love that song.
Millions of peaches for me.
Peaches for me, peaches for you. I love that song.
All right, you want to start us off, Frank?
Yeah, mine's okay. I think after it steeps, I didn't get a chance to mix this ahead of time except for till last night. So I'll go ahead and I'll share this one. And right now, I think it might be either the TFA Juicy Peach in it or the FA Peach. Something's giving me a cat piss taste, just slightly. But basically, I did a 70-30, used Too Tall's custard base here. And then I threw in the nectarine to help with the peaches instead. I was going to use apricot, but I figured let me go a different direction. I mean, apricot works just well here, but I figured that nectarine, it's more of a peach than an apricot is. Basically, it's a smooth peach without the fuzz on it. And the juicy peach at 3.5. I may have gone a little high with that, but I just think it's a strong flavor if you try to use it outside of creams because I know it'll give you a wicked throat hit. Like there was one recipe, it was probably about a year ago when I was in a real slump trying to come up with recipes, and another mixer has suggested a strawberry peach and used the TPA juicy peach in there, and it was good, but it had a little bit more of a throat hit than I liked. So then the FA white peach just a little bit low because I know that one definitely known to have throat hit, and I wanted this to be smooth. And then the shisha vanilla to go with the custard base.
So the custard base is the Inawera brulee, custard, and shisha. And
3-2-1. Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, it was Too Tall. Said I gotta give credit to Rude Rudy and you guys because I saw that on your flavor reviews.
How does that compare to Fresh's quick custard base? Because you still have to let
this one's got a 5-dayer, and that one, you can pretty much shake and vape.
Okay.
This is the first time I've actually used it, and I want to see how it plays out by like next weekend when I get back home.
Yeah. Cool. So do you think it's similar to the
No, I wouldn't say it's similar because you figure the Inawera right off the shake, you're going to get it's a little bit of a dryness. So you need other stuff to go around. If you were to just vape just the base, I think it'd be kind of dry.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I like that creme brulee backing it up because it's, Joey's one to turn me on to that flavor, hit with the ray. And then that vanilla shisha is just, just works well with it.
Do you get like the burnt, like the only thing I would think about is the burnt brown sugar in this. I don't know how that would go.
Nah, but I think because you have the custard on top of it, so weighing it down, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, cool. I love the look of it. I want to try that custard base.
Yeah, I mean, I think that custard base is going to work out nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that custard base is banging on there. I've tried it and I really, really like it. That peach combo that you used, I tried the white peach just the other day. I have a bit of a peach thing where most of the peaches out there is harsh for me. I don't know if it's something, one of the elements in peaches that is giving me the harshness, but I literally can only vape 2 peaches on my side. And it looks like white peach has got a thing for me, but other people seem to enjoy that flavor. It certainly has a lot of
that you can vape?
Popularity. So jungle flavors, honey peach, and juicy peach.
I love that.
From TFA.
Cap. Oh, TFA juicy peach. You can't do cap yellow peach. Theo, have you tried cap yellow? You can't do it, or you haven't tried it.
I have tried that. One that I haven't tried is what is it? Armenia.
Oh, that's an apricot. That's an
apricot.
Yeah.
I use that
Bone
with
fruit,
white peach a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that works as a combo too. White peach is not a full, like, it's not meaty. It's lovely. It's a lovely juicy peach, but it doesn't have a lot of body to it.
No.
Often you end up having it paired with something. So Frank picked TPA, which is great. TPA can be candied though. That's so.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going for there.
Right. No. Yeah. But adding the white peach to it. My point was that adding the white peach to it kind of adds that authenticity to it.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings it back, but it maintains the full flavor of a peach.
Yeah, if I had the peach pie and cream from Wonder Flavors, that would have probably been in there to replace both of these, but I just don't have that flavor yet.
Yeah,
that's very smooth. And I like it in certain cases, or a lot of cases, but not every aspect.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, it's good in bakeries. I think with this, with the custard base, I think it could play play well with that.
You want to go ahead and talk about yours, Tammy?
Sure. Which one? I have to. Well, I'll do the one that Frank.
Yeah, do the cardinal. Yeah.
Here, I have it pulled up. If you want me to pop it up, I think I do.
Oh, you have it to pop up?
Yeah, I do. Here, hang on.
Okay.
I have it right there too. Okay, good. This is if you have not mixed Cardinal by Fear, just do yourself a favor and go mix it, because it is awesome. And you'll be like, I don't like tobaccos. Well, it is a little tobacco-y, but it's just delicious. It's a caramel.
I agree.
Holy Grail by DIY Flavor Shack is the best RY4 on the market. And and that is my opinion, but it's fact. So just go with that. But Fear put this out. I don't even know when he put it out, but he put it out, and I was like stuck on this for last year, 2017, in summer and in fall. I kept this stuff mixed constantly, and so I was thinking, it was about midnight last night. I'm like, holy crap, what would that be like with peach in it? I'm like, I've got to try it. So this morning, first thing I did was like, I'm putting peaches in in Cardinal. So I kept the whole thing the same. So I added what I like, the peach white Flavor Art at 1.5%, and apricot from Flavor Art to add extra body and a little juiciness, I get, to help back it up at just 0.75. And it just adds this nice little sweet peach note to that tobacco flavor. It's not a strong peach. It's just a nice peachy It almost tastes like a caramelized peach in the recipe.
I bet.
It's
So
just I'm in love with it again. I
I
fell
think
back
that
in love with the cardinal.
I think
Not
that's
that I ever fell out of love, but
I think that's just another good tip, right? The use of the apricot and peach.
Oh, absolutely.
And the FA white peach, it adds a little body and depth and sweetness, and just kind of helps it a little bit more.
So if you don't like tobacco, you've got to try. And for people who say they don't like it, you need to, I'm just saying, give it a chance with some Flavora tobaccos because they're not dirty. They're very smooth and they're not dirty tobaccos.
Well, it depends on which ones you're
smooth
using
and
too.
delicious.
I mean,
You just get that earthy note in it, but they're not dirty. Not like the old traditional tobaccos they used to mix.
I don't know, shade kind of gets a little muddy, but yeah, Burley in Kentucky I like a lot.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
want to say
take your word, boys, and I'm gonna give it a whirl. We're gonna
I
No,
want
but Mary Beth, Daytime Frank, have you guys tried cured tobacco from FLV? Because it's a shake and vape tobacco.
I've not.
I haven't yet. That's one I have on my list. I just keep forgetting about it every time I place an order.
You should mix it. If you like a tobacco,
Yeah, you should get that one. If it's yummy. It's a good shake and vape tobacco. It's a thin one. However, it's you can shake it and you can vape it down. Traditionally, tobaccos needs to steep for a little while, right? And this one you can just mix up, add some body to it, and you can get your tobacco kick.
Yeah. Well, good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Theo, for that. I'll have to. I might give that a try. We'll see.
Yeah, I want to shout out.
Mary Beth went outside of her wheelhouse last night and mixed up a RY4 double recipe.
Yeah, I saw that.
You're ready to move on.
Ready to move on? All right. I'm got the training wheels are coming off. Take the training wheels off. Let's go.
There you go. You're ready. That's how it starts. RY4 double is where it starts. Mm-hmm. And then you move on step by step.
What were you going to say, Frank?
I want to shout out Ian Thomas. He's keeping up with Cody Spencer. He just donated another $25, so he's got 10 spots now in the raffle.
All right, way to go, boys! Thank you so much.
Oh, Emily's here. That's all right, Emily. We'll extend the show for you because we got sidetracked and we're probably going to run till about the bottom of the hour if it's okay with everybody else because we got plenty of content.
Is anybody behind us? Is there anybody?
No, we're wide open, so we can do whatever the hell we want.
Go a little bit.
Good, so we can go back to a note on the pure tobacco.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't. The wife don't get home for about another hour and a half, and I already got pot, so I'm safe.
Dietz, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Just a note on that pure tobacco. Theo mentioned it's a bit thin, or the profile is a bit flat. However he said it, it goes well with FLV cream. Just to give you that. Well, I wouldn't say thicken, but broaden it a bit. It goes well.
Yeah, and Addie was saying about the Soho being an unobtrusive tobacco. This is true. It's definitely it's a little bit ashy, I think. But I think if you put it with an RY4, you get the sweetness from the RY4 and you get the tobacco notes from the Soho. It works out nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another peach that I wanted to talk a little bit about was actually, I'm sorry, before we do that, there's just a couple of recipes I just want to pop up real quick. Mm-hmm. One was by Liam Davey. And this is popular on
ELR.
Yeah, ELR. It's the Peach Melba.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to show it. Because I think it's a complex recipe, but I think it's worth taking a look at because I like the combination of peach and raspberry or peach and.
It's also available as a one shot at Chef.
Right, at Chef's.
Oh, okay.
That's the other reason why I wanted to pop it up. So his notes are pretty simple. He says the syrup of this is made using black currant to darken the raspberry and liquid amber to cook up the syrup. And it also helps to create that kind of cooked peach note. The raspberry is a barrel. Ice cream is made up of liquid barn vanilla. And he uses Bavarian cream and vanilla bean gelato to add some body and meringue for sweetness. And this is a 10-day steep. The other piece, so he only used one peach here, which was FA white peach. But I wanted to note, just similar to what you do with apricot and similar to what you did, Frank, you added a nectarine, right? But you used Flavora. He uses TPA here. So it also kind of adds a certain sweetness and lifts that peach note a little bit more as well. So, and then he uses the sweet TPA from raspberry and beryl, and I love that.
But those are for the sauce.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But and along with the black currant and liquid ember to kind of create the sauce. But that combination of raspberry and raspberry is a nice. That 3-to-1 ratio is a nice ratio.
Oh yeah, it's great. I had that in one shot and vaped it all like within no time. Delicious.
Is that raspberry combo like a syrupy combo? Or is it?
Yeah, I think that the TPA sweet raspberry tends to be that way a little bit. But I know it's hard for you guys to get Vape Train, but Vape Train raspberry jam also has some of that syrupy sweetness to it as well.
Gooiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Vape Train sweet raspberry, and I'm not a real fan of it. It seems like it's got
a little floral note to it.
It does. That's what when I tried to make basically like a jelly that goes inside of what over here we call them crimpets. It's a Philly thing. It's from Tasty Cake, and it's like a yellow cake with a boysenberry raspberry apple jam inside of it, and I used that sweet raspberry, and it took me a while to figure out what one, because it was the first time using all three of those flavors, which one was giving me the floral note that I couldn't get past and wouldn't even steep out. It must be that sweet raspberry from Vape Train.
Yeah, it does. It has that. The other thing that we were talking a little bit was the jungle flavor is honey peach. So it's kind of an interesting flavor, I think, and has its place. But I wanted to share this recipe really quick. I liked it because it was simple and it highlighted the use of peach and plums. So this is by Philosophucker. It's called Kicking Rocks. And it's very simple. He used a little bit of FA black currant at 0.5%, hazelnut, which is your darker base notes, which kind of come out at the back end. And he only used the honey peach at 0.5%. Wow. But what he's doing here is he's using the pear for the body.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly. And then he's pairing that with just 0.8 of Inaware plum. And so another way, much like we use pear, sometimes with apples, sometimes, to kind of get the juiciness and get some body to it, or watermelon, it was kind of used here in that scenario. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know where.
Thea, you had a recipe, don't you? A peach recipe you were talking about?
Oh, I didn't know you guys had recipes. I'm sorry. Do you have peach recipes you want to put up?
Mary Beth has one too.
You're muted, my friend.
Sorry, guys. It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing with the noob on live streams. So I'll quickly share my screen. It's not my recipe, but it pretty much shows, stuff about the peaches that I can vape. So let me just quickly share here. Okay, so
there you go.
We've got peach mango jello custard. This is from
cool.
Dr. Store. So Daniel, that you'll see in the shows
cool.
on our channel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so what he does here is pretty much, it showcases quite a lot of things. So let's just quickly run through the description. This was born from a strawberry jello custard. So, you'll see one of his other recipes is a strawberry jello custard. But the custard base here is FA Custard Premium, right? And Inawera custard, which is a beautiful, beautiful custard base to work with. But, what really is interesting and what I've also found is now, of course, this is a peach recipe, and in that recipe, he's got Flavora mango. Now, you'll also see that he's got 3% vanilla swirl in there. Now, do yourself a favor. For somebody like me that struggles with peaches, what you do is you mix up about 5% of Flavora mango and you put about 1.5% vanilla swirl in it. and somehow that that vanilla swirl, the vanilla in there, bends it towards a peach, and it's a very subtle, beautiful peach, actually.
Nice.
So that's really what Daniel did over here. He uses that with honey peach, and I understand that because, you know, honey peach is a banger from Jungle Flavors, right? So that's pretty much the peach base. I've heard everybody else talking about building a peach, because there's no single flavored peach out there that everybody is using. You have to build a peach, and I agree with what Daniel did here. And then he used Flavor West Swedish Fish just to texturize the whole mix and give that Jello candy vibe to it. But yeah, that's pretty much the mix that I wanted to just show. It shows everything that, you know, that I play around with from a peach perspective, and also, you know, from somebody that you might know from TFE.
Yeah.
Cool, guys.
That's pretty wild how he uses the candy there, the Swedish Fish, because I have, like, one of my rookie mistakes when I first started mixing is, I love Swedish Fish candy, you know, and I like the one vape that came out over here, the Candy King Swedish Fish, even though it was a coil killer. So I bought all these Swedish Fishes, and they all sucked. Now I see how to use them properly. It was just, I was trying to use them more forward, and it was like horrible throat hit and everything else, but just adding that texture, throwing that little bit of that carnauba wax in there makes it nice.
Yeah, I do the same thing with Cap Jelly Candy, you know, and most of my fruity mixes, I just bang in like a 0.5 of it, and it just gives it like a jelly kind of like texture. It sells really well as a beverage as well.
Yep.
You know, like a sugary soda. So it really helps with that, eh?
I'm sorry, what was the name of that mixer, Theo?
Dr. Store, you're muted again.
Thanks.
He's trying to do good live show etiquette and mute himself in between.
Let's have it. We do that on ours.
Yeah, Sub Vapes just asked if we've mentioned Simple OG Cream Peach Pie. Not really. Who makes that? Is that the
Shindo? Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Shindo
Yes.
does one, and I did one as well. That's why he's
right,
asking. I think I called mine Simple OG Peach Pie, and I think
that's why he mentioned it. Okay.
But I want to pop up Dietz, if you want to. Can you pop yours up, and then we'll go to the moose. The moose.
Can one of you guys pop it up on yours?
Yeah, sure. You got it, Meredith?
I think I do.
All right. So with mine, I really only ever use peach juicy because I like to mix it in candies and juices, and in combination with Cap Jelly Candy. That's basically what I use it for, and I use it a lot in that way. But with this one, I figured I'm going to try something. Try something to see how it works with the other peaches, to see just what if it's been worth it for me not to use the other two peaches. Also, I had a very short heads up about this recipe, so I was in doubt. And when in doubt, vanilla swirl. So this first recipe was basically vanilla swirl. And then when I calmed down and I finished mixing the vanilla swirl, I figured I'm going to try yogurt. So this is the yogurt. Be my guest to just swap out the yogurt for vanilla swirl and try that. I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out, but from the second vapor, from what I can taste, it's okay. I like it. The peach juicy is why I like it. For me, the difference between these three peaches is basically the yellow peach is very much that it's a light or early ripe type of peach with a lot more in profile. The white peach is what we have. We've got peaches with the white flesh, and it reminds me of that. It's a bit thin on profile, but it's very juicy. And then my favorite, the peach juicy, which is that jelly candy flavor juicy without the jelly candy profile, but that delicious juicy candy. That's what I like. And then I added a bit of sweetener for myself, but this is now my peach yogurt.
Nice.
Yeah, I can totally see that working. I think that was.
I was going with the when in doubt type of strategy, 3-2-1 on the peaches. Yeah. So this is my first 3-2-1, and I was in panic, so it worked out quite well.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see how this goes with the steep. Because of the yogurt, I would recommend a 4 to past actually 5 days, but to make it a little bit more attractive, I said 4 days.
Yeah.
With me, I would shake and bake they can vape everything. So I would probably start vaping it from day 2 or 3, but I would recommend rather day 5, and then we'll see if it's actually good. With the creams, as I think Theo mentioned earlier, it can be a bit harsh. So the cream was the first thing that came to mind, because normally when I work with this, there's a lot of other trickery and emulsifiers I use to bring the harshness down. But in this case, if it's something, in my mind, single flavor or single fruit flavor I was going with, the cream worked well. That's where the vanilla swirl came in, and followed with the idea of another good cream, a Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
Yeah.
Moose, you ready? I'm going to pop yours up, bro.
Oh, I guess so. This is a pretty old one, so mind you that it's been quite a while since I vaped it, but
That's you.
Yep.
from what I can remember, it was pretty good. Breach cobbler, all TPA ingredients. This was at a time when I was just using TPA and flavor art. But I came across this one juice that was a peach cobbler, and I was like, I could make that, and slap this together, and it was alarmingly close. So the Bavarian cream, the marshmallow, and the strawberry are there to kind of tone down the harshness that peach juicy is, and to just, give some whipped cream kind of aspects and stuff like that, creamy aspects and stuff to the cobbler. And the strawberry also works pretty well with peach juicy to give it some body that it's lacking. The flavor is there of peach, it's just not very meaty. So another thing people do is like mangoes and stuff, as we stated before. And the vanilla swirl is just because who doesn't like vanilla swirl in their recipes?
Exactly.
Fuck you if you don't like it. And the vanillin there also is another like a sweetener, and also to help with that peach juicy being so harsh. It does, vanillin does like this, it's it's there in a recipe. When you add it, it's very vanilla forward, but it acts as a sweetener to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It definitely attacks things that will be harsh in the front of your vape.
Yep. And
peach is very good at doing that. It just slams the front of the vape with a huge harshness that nobody really likes, and we tend to not get past that, and we kind of put it to the side. So.
Moose, doesn't vanilla swirl have some vanillin in it though as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not enough. Yeah, no. I was just wondering if you could have theoretically boosted up the vanilla swirl and served the same purpose.
Yeah, totally could. Or you could just do more vanillin and just do the vanilla swirl. Bavarian cream has it, like a lot of TPA concentrates contain somewhat of vanillin in them.
Yep, yes they do.
There's one thing, the cinnamon Danish, that can be swapped out for like the DX version is pretty much the same. It's just a little lighter and not as heavy on the spice. So that actually might work a little bit better for some people. And their cinnamon sugar cookie actually works just as fine too.
Cool.
Can I just mention something? The Bavarian cream just reminded me. The reason I started, the first juice I bought Juicy Peach for was Doug's Awesome Sauce. That is also a really good peach recipe. That has 3% Bavarian cream, and that's where the harshness of the peach is shaved off. And this is at 6%, the peach juicy. That's actually still one of my favorite recipes, which I just decided I will mix up when we are done here. It doesn't get old with every puff. It's so good.
Yeah, I used to ramp that peach juicy up to 6% and with 3% Bavarian cream, because the Bavarian cream also acts as warmth to the recipe, and cobbler kind of needs that.
Yeah, I just bought that Jungle Flavors Bavarian cream. I haven't cracked it open yet. I just opened the package last night.
Yeah, it's good. It's banging.
All right. Do you want to?
Go ahead. Tam.
Doug's Awesome Sauce. Oh my gosh. I mixed this like by the tons too, like back in 2016. Oh my gosh.
Way back,
Was-
yeah.
So yeah, so that was the first one I mixed in more than 100 ml. Did you
Hold
think
on.
there's
Can
a
I just show
blueberry
it really
remix
quick?
on that?
Yeah,
pull-
sure, because
yeah,
I'm
no,
interested in it
no.
too.
Yeah, so it's a
And they
great
sold
recipe.
it as a one shot at in Florida. What's the company in Florida?
If you,
Wizard Labs.
Wizard Labs. This is a one shot in Wizard Labs. Okay, where is the share thing?
if you like it, go check out. There's a blueberry remix of it too, which is just as good.
Share.
Oh,
Okay,
that'd be
here we go.
interesting.
Just with some
Yeah, there's a
blueberry.
blueberry mix to it. Yes, you have Flavor West
That's the
Bavaria
one. That's the one.
which that's a fast steeper. Juicy Peach at 6%.
This is still a shake and vape for me.
Strawberry Shisha, Strawberry Ripe at 5%. I mean, this is just absolute banging recipe right here. I mean,
Definitely, I would take out two bangers for this.
yes.
If I had-
Of course, it has the flavor
Yeah.
West Bavarian cream. I don't have that one, but
I used to have mason jars full of this.
Damn.
I mean, this has Doug's Awesome Sauce.
That's,
I mean, you can go down and down like all the freaking.
what was that peach at, Tammy? Can you go back up?
No,
6%.
Holy shit!
It is delicious. Just mix it.
It is just
Mix it.
amazing.
Mix it 30
And
more.
5 with the right.
I think I might mix
Really,
it
really
a little
delicious.
bit because I forgot how good it was.
I'm gonna mix up when we are done here. Just
Yeah.
you guys have to too.
I
I mean,
forgot
it's
how
so
good
good.
this was. This
I
was
might do
like-
that too because
This was my jam back a few years ago. Yeah. Okay.
Listen to
So I'll
that.
put
This
the
is
link
good.
to this in the copy. Okay.
I may,
I already got it mixed up.
I may sub out the flavor
When
West
you
for a jungle
mentioned that,
flavor.
my
pack.
brain just went, "Oh, Doug's Awesome Sauce." Yeah, that was like
Does it rip your throat out though with that TFA peach?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Not with
With
the
that
Bavarian
Bavarian cream, not at all.
Interesting.
I mean, I used to make it. This is for me. This is a shake and vape still. It's really good, but from day 3 it gets
Better, yeah.
yeah, because that
Really
Flavor West
great.
Bavarian cream's a quick steep.
Yeah,
I am
it's
I'm a
probably got some
yeah.
ethyl maltol in it too.
Yep.
And
It'll calm
that's
everything
gonna be your
down,
best friend and all the harshness that the world has to offer you.
I think the steep is also sped up a little bit with the shisha that's in there,
Yeah,
the strawberry shisha, so it's a bit quicker. Just works really well.
I like it. Now,
So
Maribeth, you haven't shared yours yet, Mary.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, let's see Maribeth.
I
Mine's an
love
Italian,
this. I love
Italian peach cookie. So this is like a spin-off of a traditional Italian cookie that's done for holidays, weddings, that kind of thing. And so the traditional cookie doesn't actually have any peach in it, but it's dipped in a liquor called alcarimis, which gives it a peach color, and then it's kind of rolled in a sugar. In the States, though, we do tend to use a peach liqueur. And so that does come through. So for the cookie, I used a Wonder Flavors almond cookie and a little bit of marzipan. And then for the cream in the middle, I used the FA Premium custard because that's just my favorite custard as far as being a true eggy, real custard. And it has a relatively short steep compared to Cap, you know. Wonder Flavors Cream Peach Pie, which is, to me, the best peach single on the market for a cooked peach right now. Like I love it. The thing about it though is it's kind of funky. It can be a little difficult to work with. It tends to do better with a simpler mix. So I'm kind of pushing this a little bit in general. You can take it like Shindo did it, I think, with eggnog and that was the only 2 ingredients.
Yeah,
and
eggnog. Yeah.
It was a great vape. So it tends to do really well and hold up in just simple recipes. But I added apricot, which we kind of talked about before. There is a little bit of lemon in this. And then I used the sugar orchid to support a little bit of a cherry note that is historically in the liquor and a little bit of vanilla. And it has a graininess to it. And then shisha vanilla for a little more body and vanilla notes. So you could sub out something for the premium custard if you wanted to. Like if you don't want that eggy note, then Bavarian cream is what I would go to for a lighter cream, or vanilla pudding, which also is a little bit of a shorter steep. I did add sweetener to mine. I used Flavor West, but you know, this is relatively sweet. I just wanted a little more. And so the almond cookie I used at 2.5. Most Wonder flavors are usually 1 to 4. Although some you can push higher. I use the apricot at 1, the premium custard at 2.5, just a little touch of the lemon Sicily and the marzipan and the sugar orchid are kind of my accents in here. And I use the peach pie at 3.5. And it's really noticeable on the back end. And on the front end, you get that cookie and kind of you get that creamy body throughout. So we'll see how this steeps out. This is, I made it yesterday and we'll see what happens. But right now it's tasty. It's a nice, tasty vape.
I would say also, because you know me, I'm going to point out egginess from a mile away. To avoid it, just take the custard completely out and just ramp up the shisha vanilla. Because it's pretty buttery, and that buttery will help the cookie and all the bakery aspect of it.
Do you
100%.
get a
Those
lot of
shishas are like
egginess from that
frostings.
custard?
What was that, Tam?
Do you get a lot of egginess from that custard?
I think it depends, but meaning I think it depends if you're like sensitive to that. And to me, I am. Like I can't stand cap custard. I absolutely cannot stand it.
Yeah, but
It's
to
a
me,
different eggy,
I
though.
look at that one as more like vanilla pudding.
Cap's custard is like oily eggs.
Yes.
And the Flavor Art nailed their egg notes down as being more of a like that bakery or desserty kind of smooth
100%.
egg.
100% agree with you.
I don't have custard premium, but from what I could research on it, I know that it's more egg forward the higher you go with it.
Yep.
Oh, the higher. Okay.
And most custards are that way. You know,
you're going to push those eggy notes the higher you go. It's going to warm it up more, and that's what custards want is warmth. So the higher, especially the higher you vape them at wattage-wise too, you're going to taste that egg and that warmth even more.
Yeah.
Wow, I just looked at my phone, looked at my email again, and Cody Spencer is trying to win all this by himself. His wife just handed him the credit card, and he just donated another $100 to St. Jude.
Wow.
Awesome.
Good job.
Great job, guy.
Wow. Cody, who are you? Where are you from? Where did you come from?
Yeah, he lives in Wyoming, so
thank you.
He doesn't have anything else to do right now. It's probably snowing in Wyoming, and he doesn't want to leave the house. So that's awesome, though.
That is fantastic. He wants an Avituni flamed torch device. That's what he's going after, man.
That and probably and the opportunity to have 2 hours up close and personal with Fresh 03.
I know that's what our buddy in Ozland is coming after. He's like, I want that.
Yeah, Fresh has donated 2 hours of his time, one-on-one, for a mixing session, little class on mixing.
I want that. I want that one-on-one.
Heck yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Gives me something else to do here. I got to add 20 more Cody Spencers to the Google document for the randomizer.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we got to talk about for peaches? Any other words of wisdom, lads and lasses?
I'm moving to the country to eat a lot of peaches.
Yeah.
I gotta say that. That's my favorite.
I guess basically, don't be afraid of them. You hear a lot about the throat hit, but there's all kinds of ways around it.
Yep,
exactly.
Where you can still enjoy it, and it's not going to turn. It's not going to be like razor blades in your throat.
And there's kind of a peach. There's like a peach for every application. Like you can use the lighter peaches for a light tea beverage. You can use some of the more bolder peaches with more meaty and support them with like apricot and citruses, and you can kind of get it the way you want. So there's kind of a peach for every cause, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, lads. Well, I appreciated having Theo and Dietz on here. Thank you so much for your time.
It's been great.
Thank you guys for having us.
Oh man, it's been a blast.
So how was it? You guys okay? You're not too
yeah, absolutely.
No, it's fine.
I'm quite surprised. It just feels like a pre-recorded show. It doesn't feel real, but I know it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need any tissues or any any it's been awesome having you guys on. Well,
thank you very much for inviting us, Frank.
Very much.
Thoroughly enjoyed collaborating.
Anytime.
Yeah, the link to your channel is in the description. If anybody has not already subbed to you guys, then I don't know what the fuck they're doing, because they need to, because you guys are doing awesome work. And especially, I mean, the reviewer, I mean, the mixer reviews are awesome, but then flavor reviews, it's just like, it's like a shorter version of Noted. And I mean, I learned so much from them.
I really
I'll go
like.
back, I'll be driving down the road and I'm like, well, you know what? Let me see if they've done one on this flavor, and I'll go look for it. Oh, check it out. They did. And I'll just throw it on and I'll listen to it for, however long it goes, 30, 40 minutes. Because I like how you guys do them in smaller pieces too, because like you were talking about the hour and a half podcast. Yeah, that ain't me. I'd get bored. I'd fall asleep.
Yeah, it's a big investment, it's a big investment. And when we started out, everybody was just saying, can you please just cut your shows down? I think Vaping Trucker is going through the same thing as well. And you end up just cutting so much out that it's not the original idea anymore, So, but I'm happy how it's turning out. So thanks, Frank.
Oh yeah, you guys are doing awesome. Let's go around the room. You guys start first. How about you, Dietz? Where can everybody find you?
All right, so I'm still not really out of my digital ometry. I basically have a YouTube channel and then a Google email account that you can mail me on, dietzvape@gmail.com, DEETZVAPE@gmail.com. And then on the thefogvlog, I'm always there.
And you have an ATF. It's Dietz with 2 Z's, right? And
ATF Dietz with 2 Z's. That's correct. Thanks.
I still can't get used to saying Z, because over here we just say Z.
Z, 2 Z's.
Yeah, 2 Z's.
So for the Fog Vlog, you can just find me on ATF as the Fog Vlog. So that's my my recipes. I've only got 4 or 3 recipes out over there. And then if you want to send any messages or email or whatever the case is thefogvlog@gmail.com. And that's pretty much it. I've got a couple of people connected with me on Facebook. My name is Theo. My surname is Tiot. So if you want to, connect with me over there, you can do so. But that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys, for having us on the show.
Oh,
and of course, YouTube, right?
Yeah. So I've got I'm NecModRN on all the flavors and ELR, and you can catch me on DIY Down Under. Every once in a while I'll put up a little quickie flavor review on the Plunge on her channel, and that's about it for me.
All right, Tammy, go ahead, sweetheart.
I'll go. Okay, I'm Tam Vapes on ELR and all the flavors, and on Instagram. And I opened up my Instagram so anybody can. I'm not all private anymore. Or snotty on Instagram, the snotty bitch on Instagram. I'm sorry. Okay, so you can find me on same place you can find Mary Beth, DIY Down Under, over there, and here on Sundays, and that's it. So Moose, where can we find you?
Yep, you can find me as Ad Drop on ATF and ELR, and every Sunday here with Frank when I'm not dealing with life's obstacles. There's been so many lately, but
life's bullshit.
It's good to be back when I can.
Hell yeah! Well, thanks for
awesome to see you here. Yeah, awesome to have you here again, Daz Moose.
Yeah, people look more forward to seeing you than they do seeing me. So,
and me too.
I mean, we all know I come for the shits and giggles, more the giggles than the shits.
There you go. All right, everybody. Let's say, hit up St. Jude's, give those kids some money, get you a chance to win some really cool shit, all kinds of good stuff going on. Educate, advocate, and be good for this community, just like Fresh says, because without us fighting for what we have, we're not going to have it anymore. Whether it's here in the States, whether I see LabWorks is out there, whether down South Australia, all the shit they got going on down there.
Exactly.
and the stuff that's going on in South Africa. I mean, all over the world, there's there's fights everywhere. There's fires to put out everywhere, and some of them are larger than others. And we just need to stay on top of it. Here, there's talking more flavor bans again. Possible nationwide flavor ban has been toted out there, but hopefully, we just got to keep fighting. Donate to CASAA. You don't even have to donate. Just become a member. It doesn't cost you anything. Or notblowing.smoke.org, your state advocacy groups. Like here in North Carolina, we have a great one. I mean, they fight for us every day. They have someone in the Capitol building every day making sure that no bullshit gets passed through there that nobody knows about. The next thing you know, we're getting hit with a some kind of ban of some sort. In Greece, they have a DIY ban. They've gotten real creative on it down there because their economy sucks and they want everybody's fucking money. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Everybody on the panel, everybody's hung out and chat. It's been a great show. Probably one of the best ones we've had yet. Mary Beth has one more thing she wants to.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I think this is still on. The 30% off of a door, I think, is still going on. So if you use her code Happy Birthday, I think if you haven't had an opportunity, that's a great deal. 30% off a door is a good deal if you can get it.
There's a belated happy birthday to.
I think it's going on through today.
Yeah, belated happy birthday to Dawn. Big purple hearts. Let's fill up the chat with purple hearts real quick for Dawn, because yes, it did. It is her birthday. Yesterday it was. She's finally 21. She can finally go to the bar.
All right.
All right, guys. Yes, thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you guys next week. Right now, we're looking at doing TFA next week, but that might change. I don't know if I want to do TFA. We might.
Oh, no. Yeah.
We'll probably do it. So we'll see everybody next week. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.